Assalamu alaikum. Practical important questions in pharmaceutical analysis. See here, I have given here some of the major and minor experiments. Both the experiments I have framed here. Some of the major and minor experiment, but some experiment I will tell you, you practice that. Some already have prepared a procedure for that, in a short and sweet procedure for that. Okay, it's enough for your examination. Let's start with that. See, first synopsis. In synopsis, I have told you 2022 question paper, it's mandatory for you all. This question paper you have to follow. Everyone should follow this 2022 question paper. Now means the question paper which have written you recently, for 75 marks or 70 marks, that question paper you have to practice that. And principle and standardization of HCl, hydrochloric acid, then sodium hydroxide, sodium thiosulfide, potassium permanganate. These you have to remember principle and standardizations. What are the main is principle for HCl, sodium chloride. They will ask you, write the principle of sodium chloride, HCl, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, okay, potassium permanganate. Then assay of ammonium chloride. In that, write the assay principle of ammonium chloride, write the assay principle of hydrogen peroxide, write the assay principle of calcium gluconate. In this way they will ask this type of the questions. One is very important. These you take screenshot. These are very important one. Okay, at least you read this one. Okay, in the examination hall, if you are not getting anything, means the question may be anything. Okay, you write at least this one. Anyone you select from here, if they ask assay, means at least. It's not advice from me. If you know, means alhamdulillah, you can write, don't worry about that. But my dear brothers and sisters, if you are not getting the answer for that, in last situation, you have to write anyone from this. Clear? And a procedure should be known. You should know the procedure. Very important one this is, because sometimes in Viva he will ask you the procedure. At least you ask procedure for your neighbors. Okay, your neighbors means understand my things, colleagues, there only in the practical lab. This one procedure also they will ask in this synopsis some time, like write the procedure for potassium permanganate, standardization procedure for hydrogen peroxide, assay procedure for hydrogen peroxide, this way. And one more important thing, see, this pharmaceutical analysis is interdependent. Which one? These analysis, this practical and theory, these are interdependent with each other. Means if you what you study in practical, that related with the theory, what you study in theory, that relate in the practicals. Okay, it's one advantage. Now major and minor experiment. One of the major experiment here is preparation and standardization. Some spellings are ups and down, you don't worry about that. Prepare and standardization of potassium permanganate. See, very important one, KMnO4. Simple. How you prepare 3.2 gram of KMnO4 and dissolve in 1000 ml of water, then heat on water bath for 1 hour, allow to stand for 2 days and filter it through a funnel and collect the sample. See here, this preparation they won't give you for to prepare. Already the lab technician will prepare and keep it down, because it potassium permanganate to come in its original state, means to become the active KMnO4, means it requires 2 days to stand. To complete this reaction, it wants 2 days. So in the practicals you cannot wait for 2 days. So that's why your lab technician will prepare before 2 days only. You don't worry about that. The main important thing is standardization here. See, simple. In burette, what you have to take? KMnO4, potassium permanganate. Okay, then conical flask, 10 ml of oxalic acid you have to pipette, then 10 ml of sulfuric acid, then heat about 60 to 70 degree. After heating, then then what you do, you just titrate with this KMnO4. Okay, titrate, and see this end point will occur, colorless to pale pink. Maybe approximately from 12 or 13 you will get the end point. For some they will get 12, for some they will get 13. See, first and second reading, when you take initial and final reading, when you subtract, there should be not lot of difference of 1 or 0.5. okay, in point only you have to maintain the difference. If it exceeds, means your supervisor will cut the marks. That is one of the very important thing here. Okay, this is for potassium permanganate. Simple. Then ceric ammonium sulfate, CAS. See, standardization, ceric ammonium sulfate. In burette you have to take ceric ammonium sulfate. Here indicator no need, because the KMnO4 it is a self indicator. Okay, they will ask you in the viva why we are not using in potassium permanganate the indicator, because sir KMnO4 it act as a self indicator. You have to tell this one. Standardization: ciburate CaS ferric ammonium sulfate, conical flask 10 ml of ferric ammonium sulfate, then 10 ml of sulfuric acid, then few 2 to 3 drops of or ferroin sulfate. It is the indicator. Endpoint red to yellowish green. Endpoint red to yellowish green. And here the calculations are mandatory. Calculations, what calculation? That only n1 v1 is equal to n2 v2, normality, volume of the burate, volume of the what you take volume in the burate sodium, what you take volume in the conical flask. That you have to remember this everything. These are very important one. Clear? Endpoint is red to yellowish green. Next, assay of hydrogen peroxide. See, assay very simple. 10 ml of hydrogen peroxide sample. In burate you have to take KMnO4 potassium permanganate, where in burate, then 10 ml of hydrogen peroxide in conical flask, then 10 ml of sulfuric acid, colorless to pale pink. Simple one. One more point you remember in assay. See, in burate you have to remember what is the burate. Okay, then what you are given, no, for an example they are given assay of you write the assay for calcium gluconate. Then in burate never will be the calcium gluconate in terms of assay. Okay, in terms of assay, the conical flask contain this one. Assay means we are assaying that. Assaying means we are determining the concentration. We are calculating the concentration of the given sample. If they ask for assay means in conical flask only, you have to take that one. Okay, what the sample they are giving, no, not in the burate. In the burate totally different sample. Clear? In preparation and standardization of sodium chloride, there you have to take sodium chloride weight in the burate, sometimes in the conical flask. But here understand the concept. Very simple. Assay means in conical flask you have to take what the given sample. Now for an example they have given hydrogen peroxide means you have to take 10 ml of hydrogen peroxide in the conical flask. Clear? Then in burate KMnO4, simple. Then if given calcium gluconate means in conical flask what you have to take? One is known, we have to take calcium gluconate. Okay, according to that you have to follow. Ammonium chloride, one of the major experiment here. See, burate sodium hydroxide, conical flask ammonium chloride plus 50 ml of water. Okay, ammonium chloride you have to dissolve with 50 ml of water, then add 5 ml formaldehyde neutralized one. I will tell you why it is neutralized. Then allow for 2 minutes. Then indicator phenolphthalein. Endpoint is colorless to pale pink. Clear? Already their formaldehyde will be prepared. The technician will prepare and keep there, and he also labeled there. This is formaldehyde solution, neutralized one. Why neutralized means if sometimes he asks viva supervisor, if asked means what you have to tell, sir, because it is neutralized because it shows adverse reactions. Okay, you have to tell like this way. Or sir, it won't produce a proper assay for the ammonium chloride. Okay, it will give errors, so we have to use neutralized one. We have to use, that is neutralized with a phenolphthalein indicator. You have to tell this way, in this way. Yeah, now see, these are some of the major and minor experiment where in our examination of pharmaceutical analysis. One is ammonium chloride, hydrogen peroxide, then ferric ammonium sulfate, then potassium permanganate, and one more very important is sodium hydroxide, HCl, and sodium thiosulfite. Very important one, sodium thiosulfite. Okay, so my dear brothers and sisters, you practice these, and viva is the same. What you commence the practical, no, they will ask same viva, and practical record is mandatory, 4 marks for practical record. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, 2 subjects we have completed here. One is pharmaceutics, another one is analysis. Then 2 more are remaining, HAP1 and PIC. Inshallah, that too we will complete in upcoming days. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.